Hey guys, thank you for watching the Slat Rock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And if you've already done so, just make sure that it's still active. Here's your news for November 15, 2019. The wrestling world is still reeling from CM Punk's shocking appearance on WWE Backstage, and since he'll be on the show next week, it's likely that plenty of fans will be staying up late to see what he has to say. Following his controversial 2014 exit from the company, WWE nixed Punk's profile on their website, but have now re-added the bio about the former WWE champion. Fans will just have to wait and see what's next for the best in the world, as while he may never wrestle again, his mind could always be changed if the price is right. Speaking of money, AEW reportedly offered Punk a very lucrative deal with them, and Tony Khan even met with Punk personally, but clearly, a deal between them did not emerge. Punk is also searchable on the WWE Network as well, so if he doesn't lace up his boots again, there's no shortage of great matches fans can find. According to reports, there was something of a mixed reaction from superstars on Punk's return, with one anonymous star saying, "Someone like that you can have a great story with, and where there's a great story, the fans are happy and there's money, so I'm happy." With that said, one superstar didn't really care about Punk's return, saying, "I have zero time for that guy, so no thoughts, no." Another longtime name of WWE said that the company will have, quote, "royally up if they don't use Punk during their upcoming 4-day stretch of Chicago for Survivor Series." Before returning this year, Punk competed twice in the UFC, coming up short on both occasions, and the venture was described as a bit of a dead end for Punk by one superstar. Though he may have never won in the Octagon, Punk did fulfill his dream of competing on that level, and got some nice paydays as well. While opinion may be split on Punk's return, the general consensus backstage is that he will wrestle again for WWE, and there's no shortage of dream match opponents on the roster. Now that Punk is back though, many are wondering about AJ Lee, as the Mrs. Best in the World left the company 1 year after her husband. On Backstage, Paige, who feuded and teamed with AJ in her final year, asked about the former Divas champion, and it seems her return could be happening soon. On the Oh You Didn't Know Patreon, Brad Shepard reported, according to a source in WWE, former superstar AJ Lee is in talks to occasionally appear on WWE Backstage. After having a fascinating career which included 3 reigns as WWE Divas champion, it's obvious fans would like to hear what AJ has to say about the current product. Since leaving wrestling behind shortly after WrestleMania 31, AJ hasn't wrestled since, but has kept herself busy with other projects, including her memoirs, Crazy is My Superpower. It wasn't too long ago that the idea of AJ wrestling in WWE again seemed impossible, but now that Punk is back, it seems anything can happen. Over to Raw now, and next week's show will see a huge tag team title match just days before Survivor Series. On the show, the Viking Raiders will defend their titles against Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, who qualified by defeating the OC and the Street Profits in a house show this week in Mannheim, Germany. The match ended with Hawkins getting the pin over Anderson, but will the wrestling figures collectors once again hold championship gold when they appear at the TD Garden? Tune into Raw to find out. Speaking of title matches, SmackDown's tag team champions The New Day will also have to defend their gold before Survivor Series, this time against the Revival. Tonight's show may be Dash and Dawson's last chance to get onto Survivor Series, as the Raw, SmackDown, and NXT Tag Team Champions will meet each other in non-title triple threat match action on pay-per-view on November 24th. It's been another week of the Wednesday Night Wars, and AEW have won yet again, despite NXT closing the gap last week. Showbuzz Daily is reporting that AEW pulled in 957,000 viewers from this week's show, which saw the Inner Circle face the SCU for the AEW World Tag Team titles in the main event, and this number is a big increase from last week's 822,000. NXT, on the other hand, brought in 750,000 fans this week, down from last week's 813,000, and their overall share of viewers dropped from 0.05 to 0.025. In that crucial 18 to 49 demographic, AEW once again shined, ranking 5th, while NXT came in at number 22, and we think it'll be just a matter of time before the new promotion breaks 1 million viewers. We mentioned earlier on that tonight's SmackDown will feature a tag team title rematch, and that isn't the only repeat on tonight's show. WWE has announced that Nikki Cross will take on Bayley in non-title action during the show, And if Cross can defeat the champion, she'll be the final member of Team SmackDown in the Women's Survivor Series match. This match was set up after Cross did some trash talking on Twitter, which caught the eye of Sasha Banks, who suggested the Scottish superstar should prove herself by beating Bayley. This will be the second match in 2 weeks between Cross and Bayley, as the former Hugger retained her title last week thanks to a big assist by her best friend, The Boss. Sticking to SmackDown now, and Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson have never cared too much about sticking to the status quo, but have been taking things one step further in recent days. Fans will know that the pair have been rather vocal about things they shouldn't be vocal about, such as wanting to leave, and the pair have even started paying tribute to a notable team that competes in AEW. Posing in a manner similar to the Young Bucks at a live event in Zurich, Switzerland, and WWE wisely decided against showing them doing the pose. Unsurprisingly, this has led to speculation by fans on whether the former tag team champions will leave soon, and many already assume that a match between the Revival and the Bucks will happen in the future. As of right now, it's much more likely that the Revival would jump ship to AEW, as it doesn't make sense for the Bucks to leave a promotion that they helped start in the first place. Of course, this could all be a decoy by Dash and Dawson, who want to remain in WWE for good, but since this is pro wrestling, there's always going to be room for some conspiracy theories. One thing fans may not know about WWE is that during events, they have local indie talent backstage, even if they don't use them. This is because sometimes an extra star or enhancement talent is needed at the last minute, and after appearing on both NXT and SmackDown, Carissa Rivera may have finally hit the big time. According to Squared Circle Sirens, Rivera will be backstage tonight at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia for SmackDown, and the second-generation 27-year-old has already received a WWE tryout in December last year. Trained by Damian Adams, Rivera was also backstage at a recent AEW Dynamite taping, as it seems the war between the two promotions is proving to be beneficial for this second-generation star. From one name who is getting their big break to a true icon of wrestling, as The Undertaker has once again showed more of his human side. Over the past year or so, the dead man has been taking part in interviews and attending events out of character, and recently kept busy alongside his wife Michelle McCool during Veterans Day. A photo of the pair was even shared by WWE, as it seems the company is fine with fans knowing the truth, and the dead man will be a part of the first episode of Stone Cold's Broken Skull Sessions, which was filmed backstage at Madison Square Garden and will air on the WWE Network after Survivor Series. There are currently no future plans for Undertaker appearances in the ring, but it was good to see the dead man enjoy Veterans Day as a true American badass. Now, we all know that wrestling is a dangerous industry, and that fact was once again proven during this week's edition of WWE NXT. During the match between Xia Li and Aaliyah, it seemed Aaliyah was busted open, and the spot happened moments before the match ended. Helped to the back by trainers and medical staff on hand, Aaliyah was holding a towel, now filled with blood, to her face, and it looks like the young superstar may have suffered a broken nose. Her friend Vanessa Bourne didn't take this injury lightly, and quickly hopped to Twitter to blast Li, describing the Chinese superstar as, quote, "the sloppiest person in the locker room." Harsh words for the superstar who doesn't have a reputation for hurting people, and who is reasonably well liked by everyone. There's always the chance that Bourne's comments are a shoot. However, a much more likely idea is that Bourne's reaction was just part of a storyline to plant the seeds for a match between the two and eventually a rematch between Aaliyah and Li. And finally, we're ending with some news from Survivor Series, as the rumored Rusev vs. Bobby Lashley match seemingly isn't happening. Instead, a match between the two powerhouses is now being advertised for TLC, meaning this feud will be carrying on for at least another month. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted the match was scheduled for TLC, as well as a tables, ladders, and chairs match between Roman Reigns and King Baron Corbin. Since the love triangle angle started between Lashley, Lana, and Rusev, fans have been very negative of the angle, with this week's story of Lana pretending to be pregnant just to allow Lashley to once again sneak attack the Bulgarian Brute being eviscerated by fans. Though the angle hasn't got too many fans, it seems those in the story are pleased with it, as Rusev recently praised the story, which has allowed him a lot more time on TV. As for why the match isn't taking place at Survivor Series, the reasons are unclear, though it's possible that the show is already stacked thanks to the added NXT involvement, and there was simply no room for the two to finally face off on pay-per-view. For months, Rusev has been ridiculed and attacked by his wife and her new man, and although everyone wants to see the former United States champion get his revenge, it seems Rusev will just have to wait.